Your alarm goes off. You hit snooze. And in that one tiny moment, you've already lost the first battle of the day. Not against time, but against your own brain. You don't even remember making the decision. Your thumb moved before your eyes opened. And now you're lying there, half awake, phone in hand, and somehow, you're already 14 minutes deep into Instagram watching a guy pressure wash a driveway. It's 7:16 a.m. You haven't even gone to the bathroom yet. And here's the part that stings. You know what you should be doing. You've known for months, maybe years. You've got a Notion board somewhere with a morning routine you designed at 11 p.m. on a Sunday when you felt invincible. Meditate, journal, exercise, cold shower. The whole checklist. Beautiful. Color-coded. Never lasted past Wednesday. So you do what you always do. You tell yourself tonight. Tonight I'll set everything up. Tomorrow will be different. And tomorrow comes. And it's not different. And that little crack in your self-trust gets a tiny bit wider. I'm not describing someone else's life. This was mine. For almost 2 years, I had a morning routine I never actually followed. I had the app. I had the alarm label that said, "Get up, no excuses," in all caps. I had the water bottle on the nightstand. None of it mattered, because I was trying to solve a systems problem with willpower. And willpower is the worst tool for the job. What if the reason you keep failing has nothing to do with laziness? What if discipline has almost nothing to do with how tough you are, and almost everything to do with how your brain is wired in the first 10 minutes after you open your eyes? That's what this video is about. 3 morning habits. Not 10. Not some 2-hour ritual that only works if you're a monk with no job. 3. Each one backed by neuroscience. Each one targeting a different layer of why you keep quitting. And none of them require you to wake up at 5 a.m. or take a cold shower. Here's what makes mornings so dangerous and so powerful at the same time. Your brain consolidates behavioral patterns in the first hours of the day. The cortisol awakening response, this natural spike of alertness that happens when you wake up, is basically biological rocket fuel. And right now you're pouring that fuel straight into your phone screen. Into TikTok. Into a group chat that could have waited until noon. This isn't another cold shower and journal video. I'm not going to tell you to visualize your future self or write affirmations on your mirror. What I am going to do is show you the operating system running behind your habits and how to finally hack it, so discipline stops being something you chase and starts being something that just happens. But before we get into the 3 habits, we need to talk about why everything you've tried so far didn't stick. Because if you skip this part, you'll just repeat the same cycle with a new checklist. You've tried. That's the thing nobody talks about. You didn't fail because you didn't care. You failed because you were given a recipe without understanding the ingredients. Wake up at 5 a.m. Cool. Why? Take a cold shower. It builds mental toughness. Does it, though? Or does it just make you miserable enough that by day 4 you associate mornings with suffering and hit snooze even harder? These tips aren't wrong exactly. They're just incomplete. They treat discipline like it's a muscle you flex, grit your teeth, try harder, push through. But discipline isn't a muscle. It's closer to a circuit board. And if the wiring is off, no amount of grinding fixes it. Here's what's actually happening in your head every morning. Roy Baumeister, the psychologist, not some Instagram guru, ran a series of experiments back in the late 90s at Case Western Reserve that basically proved your brain has a limited tank of quality decisions per day. He called it decision fatigue. And here's the part that matters for you. That tank is at its smallest right when you wake up. Think about it. Your alarm goes off, and immediately your brain is fielding questions. Snooze or get up? Check phone or don't? What do I eat? Do I have time to work out? Should I shower first? What should I wear? Each one of those micro decisions is drawing from the same tank. By the time you actually start your morning routine, The tank is half empty. And you haven't done a single productive thing yet. Now layer this on top of something called the intention-action gap. Researchers at the University of Bath found that the gap between wanting to do something and actually doing it is governed by your prefrontal cortex, the rational, planning part of your brain. Problem: that part of your brain is basically hung over every morning. It takes 20 to 30 minutes after waking for it to fully come online. So when you're lying in bed at 6:47 a.m. trying to decide to get up and go to the gym, you're asking the weakest part of your brain to make the hardest decision of the day. No wonder you keep losing. The question isn't, how do I become more disciplined? You've been asking the wrong question this whole time. The real question is, how do I design my morning so discipline becomes automatic, so it doesn't require a decision at all? That's what the next 3 sections are about. 3 systems, not motivational tricks, not hacks, not 47-step routines. 3 specific things, each one targeting a different layer of the problem. The activation window, the friction hack, the identity stack. Each one attacks a different reason you've been failing. And together, they build something most morning routine advice never gives you. A system that works even when you don't feel like it. Let's start with the 10 minutes that are quietly deciding your entire day, without you even realizing it. Neuroscientists have a name for the first 10 minutes after you open your eyes. They call it the activation window. It's the stretch where your brain is transitioning from sleep architecture to waking architecture, and whatever you feed it in this window sets the neurochemical tone for hours. Not minutes. Hours. Here's the biology in plain English. When you wake up, your body triggers something called the cortisol awakening response, CAR for short. It's a natural spike in cortisol that lasts about 30 to 45 minutes. And before you freak out, no, this isn't the stress hormone will kill you cortisol. This is alert mode cortisol. It's your brain's biological way of saying, okay, we're awake, let's go. It's fuel. Now, what do most people do with that fuel? They grab their phone. They open Instagram. They check emails. They scroll through 30 notifications they don't care about. And every single one of those inputs triggers dopamine. But it's reactive dopamine. Dopamine from consumption, not creation. Your brain goes from ready to act to ready to react in under 2 minutes. And once it's in reactive mode, getting it back to active mode feels like pushing a car uphill, in mud, with flip-flops on. Andrew Huberman over at Stanford has talked about this extensively. Morning light exposure combined with delaying phone use creates a fundamentally different neurochemical state than the scroll-first approach. The data backs him up. A 2023 review published in Neuroscience and Biobehavioral Reviews found that the timing and type of stimuli in the first waking hour significantly predict sustained attention and mood regulation throughout the day. So here's the habit. It's 3 words. No screen, full light, single task. First 10 minutes after your alarm. No phone. Not, I'll just check one thing. No phone. Walk to a window. Step outside if you can. 2 minutes of natural light on your face activates the suprachiasmatic nucleus, the brain's master clock, and amplifies that healthy cortisol spike. Then, 1 physical action. Small. Make your bed, 10 push-ups. Brew your coffee without looking at a screen while you do it. The action itself doesn't matter much. What matters is that you gave your brain a first win, a task started and completed. That triggers dopamine, but the good kind. Achievement dopamine. Completion dopamine. And that one tiny hit creates a neurological cascade. Your brain registers, I started something, I finished it, and it leans into that momentum for the next decision. You don't need a 90-minute morning ritual with a gratitude practice and a vision board and a smoothie with 17 adaptogens. You need 10 minutes. Protected, non-negotiable. No screens, real light, 1 completed action. That's your activation window. Guard it like it matters, because neurologically, your entire day is being shaped inside it. If this is making you rethink how you start your day, hit like. It's a 2-second thing that tells me to keep making videos like this instead of the fluff. Alright, so now you've got the fuel. Your cortisol is working for you instead of being hijacked by your phone. But here's where it falls apart for most people. The 45 minutes after that first window. Because that's where micro-decisions start eating you alive. You've won the first 10 minutes. You're up. Light hit your face. You made your bed or knocked out a few push-ups. Your brain is in active mode. And then, you walk to the kitchen, and your phone is sitting right there on the counter, notifications glowing. And that little pull hits. Just a quick look, just 30 seconds. Except it's never 30 seconds. Your thumb already knows the pattern. Unlock, swipe, scroll, and just like that, the momentum you built evaporates. This isn't a discipline failure. This is a design failure. B.J. Fogg, he runs the Behavior Design Lab at Stanford, spent 2 decades studying why people do what they do, and his core finding is almost annoyingly simple. Human behavior follows the path of least friction, not the path of most motivation, not the path of best intentions. The path that's easiest. You're not weak because you check your phone instead of reading. You check your phone because it's right there, unlocked, one tap away. The book is in the other room, on a shelf, behind a stack of stuff you keep meaning to organize. Friction. That's it. That's the whole game. So you flip it. The night before, and this is critical. The night before, not the morning of. You set up your environment so the disciplined behavior is the easy behavior, and the undisciplined behavior is annoying. Phone charges in the kitchen, not the bedroom, not on your nightstand. In the kitchen, plugged in, face down. Want to scroll in bed? You gotta get up. Walk to the kitchen, unplug it. That's friction. Most mornings you won't bother. That's the whole point. Gym clothes laid out on the chair next to your bed. Shoes by the door. Water bottle filled. The path from eyes open to walking out the door should have 0 decisions in it. You're not thinking. You're executing a sequence someone smarter than morning you already designed. That someone is last night you. Sean Achor, the Harvard researcher who wrote The Happiness Advantage, found something he called the 20-second rule. If you reduce the time it takes to start a good habit by just 20 seconds, the likelihood of doing it goes up dramatically. And the reverse works too. Add 20 seconds of friction to a bad habit, and compliance drops off a cliff. 20 seconds. That's the difference between you stretching at 7 a.m. and you watching a stranger's vacation highlights for 25 minutes. I tested this myself. For 3 weeks I put my phone in a timed lockbox, one of those kitchen safe things, from 10 p.m. to 8 a.m. Cost me maybe $30, and those 3 weeks did more for my mornings than 2 years of willpower ever did. Not because I suddenly became disciplined, because I removed the option to be undisciplined. The activation window gives you the neurochemical fuel. The friction hack makes sure that fuel reaches the right engine. You're not white-knuckling your way through the morning anymore. You're making the right choice, the easy choice. Okay, so you've got the brain chemistry working for you. You've got the environment set up. And for a lot of people, that's enough for maybe 2 weeks. Then something breaks. And the reason it breaks has nothing to do with systems or friction. It's deeper than that. Here's something the self-improvement space dances around but rarely says out loud. You can have the perfect system, the perfect environment, the perfect morning setup, and still quit after 2 weeks. I've done it. More than once. Everything was dialed in. Phone out of the room, gym bag packed, alarm across the room so I had to physically get up. And I still quit. Not because the system was broken. Because somewhere in the back of my brain there was a voice going, "Who are you kidding? You always quit. You're not a morning person. You're not that guy." That voice is the real boss fight. You can hack your cortisol. You can engineer your environment. But if your self-image, the story your brain tells itself about who you are, still says, "I'm the person who gives up," your brain will find a way to make that story true. It'll sabotage the alarm. It'll rationalize one skip. It'll convince you the whole system is overrated. This is where identity-based habits come in. And yeah, if you've read Atomic Habits, you've heard this concept. But hearing it and actually using it are two very different things. Here's how it works in practice, not in theory. Most people set goals based on outcomes. I want to get in shape. I want to be more productive. Those are outcome-based goals, and they collapse the moment the result feels far away. Process-based goals. I go to the gym 3 times a week, are better, but still fragile. One bad week, and the whole thing cracks. The deepest level is identity. Not, I want to work out. It's, I am a person who moves their body. Not, I should read more. It's, I'm someone who feeds their mind before feeding their phone. And here's the mechanism that makes this more than just positive self-talk. Every action you take is a vote. Literally, your brain counts. Each time you complete a micro-action that aligns with a specific identity, your brain logs it as evidence. Make your bed? That's a vote for organized person. Read for 10 minutes? Vote for person who learns. Skip the phone for the first 10 minutes. Vote for person with self-control. Enough votes and the election's over. The identity shifts. And once identity shifts, behavior becomes automatic. Not because you're trying, but because it's just who you are now. You don't decide to brush your teeth every morning. You just do it. That's identity-level behavior. So here's what I call the identity stack. You pick 2 or 3 micro-actions, each taking less than 5 minutes, that are votes for the person you want to become. And you do them every single morning. Same order, same time. Non-negotiable. My stack right now. Bed made. That's a vote for someone who controls their space. 60 seconds of stretching. Vote for someone who takes care of their body. 1 sentence written about what today's about. Vote for someone who moves with intention. Total time, under 7 minutes. But the cumulative effect is wild. After 3 weeks of that, something in my head shifted. I wasn't trying to be disciplined anymore. I was just doing things. The argument was gone. Phillippa Lally's research out of University College London backs this up, published in the European Journal of Social Psychology. On average, it takes about 66 days for a behavior to become automatic. But the key finding most people miss: lower friction habits with high consistency automate significantly faster. A tiny stack you never skip beats an ambitious routine you follow half the time. The activation window gives you the neurochemical fuel. The friction hack removes the obstacles. The identity stack changes who you believe you are. Together they build something that motivation alone can never give you. A system where discipline isn't something you do. It's something you become. So you've got the 3 pieces. Now let me show you how to set the whole thing in motion. And it starts tonight, not tomorrow morning. Here's the part most people get backwards. Your morning doesn't start when your alarm goes off. Your morning starts the night before. The decisions you make at 10 p.m. are the ones that decide whether 7 a.m. you is a different person or the same one hitting snooze for the 3rd time. So let me run through the 3 pieces one more time. Quick, no fluff. First, protect your activation window. The first 10 minutes after you wake up are the most neurochemically valuable minutes of your day. No screens. Get light on your face. Complete 1 small action. That's it. You're setting the chemical tone for everything that follows. Second, engineer your environment with the friction hack. Tonight, put your phone in another room. Lay out what you need for tomorrow's first action. Remove the decisions. Make the right behavior, the easy behavior, and the wrong behavior annoying. You're not relying on morning willpower anymore because morning willpower is garbage. Third, build your identity stack. Pick 2 or 3 micro-actions that take less than 5 minutes total. Actions that cast votes for the person you're becoming. Do them in the same order, every single morning, no exceptions. Small enough to never fail. Consistent enough to rewire how your brain sees you. Now, here's your action for tonight. Not next Monday. Tonight. 3 things before you sleep. 1. Phone goes in another room to charge. 2. Set out whatever you need for tomorrow's first action. Gym clothes, book on the nightstand, journal open on the desk, whatever your stack is. 3. Write down 1 sentence. Just 1. Tomorrow morning, I am the person who, sakado. Fill in the blank. That's your first identity vote. Cast it before you even close your eyes. Your brain is going to push back. It's going to whisper that this is too simple, that you need something bigger, something more dramatic. That 1 sentence and a phone in the kitchen can't possibly change anything. That voice? That's the old identity trying to keep its job. And every time you listen to it, you're casting a vote for the person you're trying to leave behind. Discipline is not a trait you're born with. It's a system you build, an environment you design, and an identity you earn. 1 morning at a time. Drop a comment. Which of the 3 are you starting with tonight? The activation window, the friction hack, or the identity stack? I read every single one. Hit like if this gave you something you can actually use tomorrow, not just something that sounds good. And subscribe. I make stuff like this every week. Systems that work, not motivational noise you forget by lunch.